What does Billboard's hottest female rappers list really measure? And what can it teach us about building brands at scale in 2026? I'm Vesper Cognac. I'm a design strategist, and I teach you the strategy behind things that seem like coincidence or luck. Today, we are going over Billboard's latest hottest female rappers list. Now, the focus of this won't be on the artist ranking specifically. It's more about how they engage with their audience and how they represent themselves, their brand quality, and see how we can translate that into something that's useful or productive for ourselves. In a fragmented attention economy where all the audiences are scattered across different platforms, talent alone doesn't determine who rises or who sustains a career. Over the past few years, but this year especially, Billboard has made a series of changes to how it measures sales, popularity, and cultural impact of artists and musicians. As those metrics shift, Billboard expands its use of editorial lists to help interpret what raw data can no longer express. The artists on this list have built a structure that extends beyond a single release or platform. What matters is the systems built around the artist. Back in 2020, they made the change to bundling because people like DJ Khaled were kind of exploiting the system, ended up skewing first week numbers and the data overall. Most recently in 2025, they made that recurrent rule. So after about 46 weeks, if a song falls below a certain ranking on the Billboard, it's automatically gone. And it's said that they do this to help the turnover and help other artists get onto the charts. However, that caused a media frenzy, how rap wasn't in the charts for 30 years or 20 years, and how this was the starting of rap falling off. But of course, yet again, Meg Thee Stallion saved hip hop by having her song Lover Girl chart the following week. Recently, at the end of 2025, Billboard yet again has said that they're making changes to how album sales are being counted. So they've reduced the requirement for free streams to count as a paid stream, but they're not equivalent still. And due to that discrepancy, YouTube has opted to not include their data and information for 2026. And with all these changes, when numbers become unstable and effectively useless, narratives become infrastructure. Billboard's most recent focus on female rappers explicitly highlights where in the music industry as a whole, but more specifically hip hop, you're seeing the most amount of change. Female rap is the fastest evolving and most contested portion of the genre, where status and legacy and success are constantly being reevaluated. Female rap artists are leading some of the most visible experiments in brand building, audience engagement, and cross industry expansion. And because this category is changing so quickly, it's the one that benefits the most from editorial framing. Billboard introduced its staff picked hottest female rappers list in 2024, and they brought it back with a single year end one in 2025. These lists operate alongside the charts instead of replacing them. As of now, there's no equivalent staff curated list for male rappers, but they do continue their regular year end lists and genre lists in general. These lists reflect the changed economics of music in our current streaming era, and Billboard is trying to adapt their systems in a way that shows value. Let's be clear, this list does not rank talent. This is not a talent-based list. This list highlights patterns noticed by their staff, presumably in the interest of companies and investors. And these artists are not competing with each other. They are being ranked and measured against their alignment with Billboard's changing system. Now that we know how to read this list and what it's for, let's take a look at what it consistently rewards. Across the list, each artist's ranking aligns closely with how strong and adaptable their brand ecosystem is. If you need a refresher, a brand's ecosystem is all the parts, services, products, elements that a brand or company has, as well as the fans, customers, and how everyone interacts with that system. In my framework, the brand ecosystem is divided into four areas. We start with our brand core, which is usually your artist persona or your personality type. And then we have our foundation, which is our base assets. And for artists and musicians, it would be their music. And then we have standard assets, so things that are pretty constant. So those would be either album art, music videos, things like that. And then we have flexible assets, and those would be brand partnerships, collabs, products, things that help extend their brand even further. And with this list and ranking, Billboard is rewarding artists who's built durable ecosystems. Some concentrate on one area, some combine several different areas, but what they have in common is that they all have an infrastructure that scales. I've identified four core patterns that align with our brand ecosystem framework. Let's take a look at how they are applied beyond just their music. So the first one is a scalable identity, an identity that's consistent across all platforms. Whether you're talking about music, you're talking about shows, you're talking about movies, this person is the same identity across all fronts. The number one, who actually is number one on the list, who represents this is Cardi B. Her brand is immediately recognizable. Her very dramatic stage presence, both online, in person, wherever you go, is consistent. And then on the opposite end of that spectrum is Ice Spice. Ice Spice has the advantage of having a color associated with her brand. Also, if you've looked at the 2024 list, Sexy Red, who I just recently did a video on, she would be in this realm here. Both her and Ice Spice share the homegirl archetype in my framework, and I go over that in the Sexy Red video. The second is a musical foundation that sustains. Their music isn't just like a viral hot song, and it helps keep them relevant in the culture throughout album cycles and releases. And more specifically, they're starting to get more industry recognition. So the people who would fit into this category this year are Doechii, Glorilla, and Latto. And specifically, Doechii and Glorilla are both nominated for multiple Grammys, and everybody knows that Latto is on all these different people's songs, and she's just always putting something out. The third pattern is platform fluency. So this is somebody who has a variety of different touch points within their brand ecosystem. For this year, it's Megan Thee Stallion. And I've done a video on her as well. It touches on all the different elements from her foundation that does charitable work in her hometown to her liquor brand and to her annual Halloween party. And the fourth pattern is cultural positioning. So these are artists that start to become representative of maybe like a region or a sound. They become people that you want to keep your eye on to see where the culture is going or how music is evolving over time. So the women on this list this year who fit into this category are YK Nice, Bunna B, Pluto, and Mona Leo. All these women have a variety of different collabs. Is something that's really, really unique and I think adds value to the culture in that way. And some of them have some trending TikTok songs, so that obviously raised their cultural capital. And you'll notice with this pattern, it's all about not only just expanding their brand, but their skill set and becoming more integrated into the culture itself. Being somebody that you can't easily replace, somebody that you can always find, and somebody that you can immediately recognize. And this concept extends beyond rap. This is actually how most careers are being built today in the modern era. So, how does this apply to you? Whether you're an artist, creator, freelancer, entrepreneur, the same question remains. Are you relying on moments, virality, or are you building infrastructure that scales? If you want help mapping this out for yourself, I put together a short brand workbook. It walks you through the same ecosystem framework that I use to analyze these artists and make these videos. The workbook is designed to help you identify your brand core and help you start mapping out your foundation, your standard assets, and anything else you would need to scale. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. You can use it alongside this video or any of the other deep dives on this channel. Talent opens the door, but systems keep it open. So I want to help you build your system. Billboard's 2025 list doesn't define who's the best. It reveals artists who've built something that holds up in a fragmented landscape. In 2026, success belongs to those who design brand ecosystems and not moments. And remember, everything you encounter is by design. And until next time, I'm Vesper Cognac.